Okay, guys, really good to see almost everyone yesterday. Thank you very much for coming, and I will look forward to seeing you all again next Tuesday too. So today we are going to sort of finish off this story that we've been looking at, the story of the various plots, and in particular the story of this lady here, Mary, Queen of Scots, and her position as the thorn in Elizabeth's side for the last however many years it's been. So, today we're going to look at the ending of that story and why ultimately Mary pays the ultimate price for her treatment of Elizabeth. So, the first thing you need to do is go through those plots from yesterday and make sure you have finished off that table. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this now, but I've included on this PowerPoint the kind of things you need to be including so you can check your work against this to make sure you've not missed anything. Okay, but the most important one for today is the Babington plot, the third and the sort of the final major plot that Elizabeth has to face. Okay, because it is this plot that ultimately results in the evidence being collected that is necessary to find Mary guilty and get rid of her once and for all. So, Cecil and Walsingham, they have been trying to get rid of Mary for years. Okay, they knew right from the start that she was trouble. All right, they knew that her presence in England was going to create issues for Elizabeth. Elizabeth, as we said yesterday, has been holding off on doing anything for about 20 years at this point. Remember, she arrived in 68. We are now in 86, so nearly 20 years has passed since Mary first arrived in England, and Elizabeth still hasn't really taken any solid action against her beyond moving her to slightly more secure prisons. All right. So for years, so after the Throckmorton plots, Cecil and Walsingham have been working together day and night to try and get concrete evidence against Mary. If they want her executed, they need to have the proof to do it. All right. So they have been trying very hard to do this. So first task today, after you've done that table, is to answer to these two questions for me, full sentences. So why do Cecil and Walsingham, there he is, Cecil, obviously he becomes Lord Burleigh when he gets promoted later, but Cecil and Walsingham, why do they want Mary executed? As I say, this should be a fairly straightforward answer, really. I mean, let's be honest, she has a claim to the throne, she has powerful family abroad, there is no right answer for how to deal with her, and she has repeatedly plotted against Elizabeth and caused problems for her and made it very clear that she is happy to do that. So, clearly, there is a very good reason to execute her. She's been the figurehead of all of these plots. The second one, however, is why did Elizabeth not want to execute her? And of course, there's two reasons here. Number one being Elizabeth, obviously, she's her blood relative. She would like to, she doesn't want to kill her relative. Secondly, she's an anointed monarch. She's a crowned queen. Elizabeth wants to be very careful about setting a precedent. All right, Elizabeth thinks that once you kill one queen, you send a message that anybody can kill their queen. All right, the idea is she's been anointed with holy oil in her coronation ceremony that says she's been chosen by God. Elizabeth doesn't want to start rocking the boat with that because obviously it will have repercussions for her own position. Okay, so that's what you need to talk about, that idea of setting a precedent. That is task 2. Okay, so let's hear a little bit of a story then. So, Cecil and Walsingham, they want Mary gone. They know the only way they can do that is if they've got watertight evidence, hard, Mary's own writing ideally, and they want to have various legal measures to use as well. So one of which is 1584, the Bond of Association. Now, anybody that signs this says and promises by signing that if anything should be attempted on Elizabeth's life, they will hunt those people down and execute the person responsible. Okay, and Mary herself has signed this. Mary herself has said that if anything goes wrong and there's any threat to Elizabeth's life, then Elizabeth, the person responsible needs to be executed. Okay, and Mary herself has agreed to that, which obviously is going to be a problem for her later. Walsingham spies, he's got them as double agents, so in the Babington plots, they come up with the idea of hiding the letters in the beer corks that I told you about yesterday. Okay, meaning they can then get hold of them, and by 1587, Walsingham has, on paper, Mary saying, yes, please kill Elizabeth. All right, he has confessions from Babington, he has confessions from Mary's secretary, he has a big fat stack of evidence, all proving that Mary is on board with this and wants Elizabeth dead. The very thing that she has already herself signed a document saying that if anyone wants to try and kill Elizabeth, they should be executed. And Mary herself has now done that. So Elizabeth is still struggling to decide, all right? She has lots of things to choose from here. She knows Mary is involved. There is hard, cold proof that Mary is involved in plots against her. But there's all these other issues. She's a queen. She's been anointed by God. She's a crowned queen. Does she really want to do that? She knows that Catholic countries such as Spain, such as France, are going to be angry if she is executed. She knows that, for instance, Mary's own son, okay, James, her baby son, who became king in 1568 when Mary left, he's now 20 years old. He's now a grown man, and he's now king of Scotland. All right, what will he do if Elizabeth kills his mum? You know, there's all kinds of real problems here. However, Mary is put on trial. Okay, from that evidence, before a court of 36 nobles. Okay, she's not allowed a lawyer, and these are her charges. She's wickedly challenged the crown of England. Fair. She sought to withdraw the Duke of Norfolk from his natural obedience. Fair. Stirred the Earls of Northumberland and Westmoreland to rebel. Fair. She has tried to get a new rebellion to be raised within this realm. Blah, blah, blah. She has been privy to the conspiracy of killing the Queen's Majesty. And this one's crucial as well. What Mary has done is she has said to Philip of Spain that she'll let him have her claim to the throne of England. All right. If she is to die, she said that she would take the claim away from her son because he's a Protestant. You know, she doesn't like that. So she said that her claim can pass on to Philip if anything happens to her, which obviously is treason. Unsurprisingly, 35 out of 36 judges find her guilty. But Elizabeth still refuses to do it. All right, she's so afraid of what will happen in response. Will the Scots invade? Will it set a precedent for English Catholics? Etc. So even though Mary has been found guilty at the end of 1587, Elizabeth leaves it for months. She refuses to sign the death warrant and do the deed. Privy Council get pretty fed up with this, and what they do in the end is they get Elizabeth's secretary to just give her a big pile of papers that she's got to sign and kind of hide the death warrant in there so that she'll just kind of sign it without even really realising. All right, you can see here this sort of cartoon of Elizabeth sobbing, refusing to sign this warrant, someone trying to put the quill into her hands to make her do it. She really didn't want to do it, so they tried to trick her into it. Right, and supposedly she then signed this death warrant, apparently without even realising. It was then taken straight to Cecil. They carried out the sentence at once, and Mary's head was chopped off. Okay, we're going to watch a clip in a second. Now, when Elizabeth got that news, she becomes very angry. She says, "Now, how dare you? I didn't want that to happen." The secretary's arrested. He's kept prisoner in the Tower of London for over a year. All right, because he claims that he acted without having any consent. And the question I wanted to ask here is, do you think Elizabeth was really angry? Do you think this, oh, how dare you, like putting the secretary in prison for getting her to sign it, do you believe that's real, or is there something else going on? And if she is faking this anger, why? Why would she pretend that she had been tricked into signing that death warrant and she actually didn't agree at all? Well, think about it. Who would she not want to think she did this on purpose? Task 4 then, we got a little clip about the execution of Mary, okay, and Mary, she wears red, okay, she wears the colour red. That is the Catholic colour of martyrdom. Alright, so she wants everybody to think she's died for her beliefs. Okay, she's executed that morning, 7th of February, 8th of February 1587, and that is the end of her life.
You bring news?
The Queen has been attacked. The assassin seized. The Queen unharmed.
Unharmed?
And you, ma'am, are to be tried for treason.
Me? What has any of this to do with me?
It's the trouble with intrigues, isn't it? It's so many secrets, you can never quite be sure who's on whose side till the game ends. Pulsing into every letter you've written.
Mary Stuart must die.
Must. Mary Stuart must die. Where is it written? Who says so? Have I ordered it?
Majesty, this is no time for mercy.
Don't preach at me, old man! Look at you. You can hardly stand. Go home to your wife and your bed.
The law must have its way.
By whose authority do you condemn me? God is my only judge.
The law is for common men, not for princes.
The law, Your Majesty, is for the protection of your people.
I know who I am. And if I die, it shall be as I have lived. As a queen, trusting in the mercy of God my Father.
Tenen cartas escritas por la misma mano de María Estuardo. Toda Inglaterra pide su muerte.
Querida, ¿te gustaría ser reina de Inglaterra?
At which hour?
At 8. Tomorrow morning.
cristiana y martirizada por una impía sin hijos. Ahora la sangre pagará la sangre. Isabel, bastarda. Llamo a las legiones de Cristo a la guerra. Virgen mojada de sangre. Ella pagará con su patria, su corona, su vida.
Now, what you have got is you have got this Word document here. Alright, which you need to sort the causes of Mary's execution into different types of cause. So which of these things is the trigger? What is the thing that causes it to happen then and there? What's a short-term cause, so something that happened shortly before? And what is a long-term cause that has been kind of in the background the whole time? Okay, so you've got 3 colours. Sort these into those 3 categories, please. When you have done that, you can move on to this final task. Okay, which is, these are the consequences of the execution. All right, which is basically not a lot. Right, there's no rebellion in England. The Catholics don't rise up. The French don't rise up. They don't do anything. Okay, Scotland, even though it's her son, he kind of publicly says, "Oh yeah, I'm not very happy about this," but because of Elizabeth's sort of tantrum arresting her secretary, he accepts it was the Privy Council's fault, and he does nothing. And of course, in his mind, it kind of works quite well for him actually, because he became king when he was 1 year old. Okay, he hadn't seen his mum since he was born, pretty much. Right, it's not like he knows her or at all really. So he's not that emotionally connected. And now with his mum out of the way, who's next in line to the throne of England? Because Elizabeth hasn't got any kids, it's him. All right, so actually this is kind of a good thing for him, even though obviously his mum's died. Philip is livid, okay, obviously, but by this point, to be honest, they were at war anyway. All right, he's never really tried that hard to get Mary on the throne. Okay, he's not really been involved in those plots. He's never actually turned up to help with the Northern Earls or anything like that. He's angry. He's publicly angry. He acts that Elizabeth's done this terrible thing, but it doesn't actually change anything really. He was already at war with England by this point. So your final thing to consider is this. Do the consequences of Mary's execution suggest Elizabeth handled the situation well or badly? So do you think she did a decent job in the end with this execution? And I want you to explain that answer. Okay, so that is your work for today, guys. I will see you all next Tuesday for our next Zoom lesson. Well done for everything you've done. Any questions, please do email me. No matter if you think they seem a bit stupid or whatever, they're not stupid, I promise you that. Just get in touch and I'm very willing to help you. Okay? Alright, boys. See you next time.